Hello Libra, welcome to your February reading. So let's start. My apologies for your reading being delayed. I started it and then I was talking so much, processing all these thoughts, and I realized, oh my goodness, this is all coming back. So I had to go and see my doctor again, and looks like my pneumonia cleared, but I got bronchitis, so it's just one freaking thing after another. And with this coronavirus, I don't want to be around doctor's offices too much. So let's start, my dear Libra. See what's in store for this upcoming month, the month of love. And since you're like a sign of romance, probably you are living for it. My apologies. From time to time, I'm going to stop the reading. I'm putting my mousey here, like now. Just give me a sec. That's what I need to cough. So I don't think you'll be really impressive. I just do it in the microphone. So let's see what is in for my Libras. So let's see. The bottom is Four of Fire. Something is moving to the next step. Something is becoming solid. To me, sometimes this talks about commitment. It talks about whatever it is, you're moving to the next stage. If you are single and you want to see someone and you want to date someone, well, this is a good time. This is going to spell, hey, somebody else is going to look for a Valentine's date, and it's going to be probably much more than that. So this is like a really, really good omen to really look into that. And the first major under is Hermit. And Hermit kind of like has a little bit of High Priestess in it. There is a crescent moon that is making a new appearance. This is about wisdom. This is about listening to our inner voice and trying to figure out what is right for and wrong, what is right for us, and what is, and the sound that you're hearing, that's my doggy decided to sip a water, right? And that sounds as that. Ugh. Coughing again. So let's see. Let's put this out and see this initial cross. So you have C, Tom. So we are talking here, let's kind of like zoom this out a little bit. So we are talking here about the Knight of Cups. Hello. Romance is in the air. Somebody is coming with the roses or asking out, or flirtations is at its highest. And oh my goodness, you have also Ace of Earth. This is my favorite ace. Most people like Ace of Cups because that signifies also flirtation and somebody new coming and somebody new that you really like, right? But it's not solid to me, Ace of Cups. Like water either evaporates or moves on, right? So which means if maybe first date is great and the second date you're like, I don't know. In a night light he looked really nice, but in a daylight, you know, it was one Seinfeld episode with that when she had a good face and bad face made out of it. But this ace, look at that tree. That was there. Somebody put their mark on it a long time ago. This is made to last. So it is something that is projecting to be really, really good over here. Look at this, like good next level. So if you're already in a relationship, if maybe you had some troubles, maybe if you had kind of like shifts, what do we do, how do we go, do we move forward with this, it's going to look like that, yep, you're going to say, let's do it, whatever it is next. Moving in, getting engaged, getting married, having a baby, getting a dog, hopefully cat, right? That kind of stuff. But voila, not before the Tower experience. Oh boy, this is kind of like lovely. Something will shake off. Something hasn't been built properly. You have to ask yourself if you are doing things, let's say it on the wrong foundations. Usually Tower shows up when we neglect to do the right thing. When we neglect, when we kind of like are very passionate about something, but we are not realizing that maybe we are stepping on somebody's toes. So why did the tower fall down? Somebody was rushing, building out that tower. Not all steps have been made. Maybe you said something. Maybe somebody said something. Maybe there is like some kind of like argument that come into place. So Tower experience is usually kind of like shocking experience, I really have to say. You see, Tower, I always connect to Death card, always. Where people usually see Death card and go, oh, I hate this card. I actually don't mind Death card. It kind of like talks about shifting, and the shift is made because we want it. Because it's a day when you realize, I don't think this relationship is working out, or I think this job is not going to get me anywhere, or this friendship is one-sided. That's kind of like a stuff that happens in that card. So maybe you're ending it and something else, kind of like one door kind of like shuts, another one opens. Well, not so much with Tower, right? So everything is falling off in Tower. Like there is like no mercy, kind of like if you wish in this card, right? So the Death card is kind of like the one that people are terrified, but this is really the one that people need to brace themselves for, right? That can be chaos, that can be destruction. And also, however, like, I mean, what the Tower brings is always followed by renewal and creation, right? So maybe, you know, you're putting your foot down over something. So this is kind of like coming here as a ground. Maybe there's like something that has been turbulent in your life that you have been dealing, right? And it has a positive note, of course, that something is being rebuilt and this time is done right. And how many times we all have been there, we just do something sloppy just to do it, and then it kind of explodes in our face. As I said, that can relate to a work. Maybe you submitted something at work which was kind of like to satisfy a deadline, and now something in there was noticed and you're being called to fix things, right? But it can be something that can be a really, really big one, like traumatic or even life-altering events. Maybe you just been through it. Maybe there's like something that you will go through it, right? So destruction, like when we have destruction in the Tower, that actually can be on a positive side. It is usually directed at something that has been built on, let's say, on false beliefs and false foundations. And when we have unrealistic goals and dreams. So that's what I said, like, I mean, if you really, really wanted something, but that was not really reality, it was maybe kind of like wishful thinking, let's say you kind of like put something down in your resume, and it sounds great, you gave yourself a good title, but then again, you know, somebody checks it, and it can actually really kind of like reveal that, hey, you know what, like, I mean, there is like no need to do it. If you kind of like fake it, then maybe you can put it into your interest rather like in the future, so that is still there, right? On a bad note, that can actually really talk about really bad things, such as, I'm just like seeing what is on the top, Six of Earth, some kind of division of some sort. So you can talk about a death of a loved one, a divorce, or a bad breakup. But it can also talk about assault and abuse and drug overdose. Mercury retrograde is coming up, so car crashes, right? Or job loss. So whether or not this is something that you are coming into, actually this will come here, or that this is something that you are already dealing with, right? It will be a massive upheaval. It's going to be some kind of adjustment, right? Where the change is going to be a good one. Now, I mean, the placement of the Tower is really important, right? In the past position, it really usually says that you have been through. That's why I was looking for this card, right? Because here it says like it was some kind of division. It was like kind of like satisfying. Maybe there's a situation where you have like some different players, and there have 2 players or 3 players. In the other decks, you will see this card in Rider-Waite, represented with a dude with a scale, and he's measuring how much to put on the scale in order to give to the beggars. So he is giving a measured help, not unlimited. So sort of like, you needed this much. I know this is going to resolve your problem right now. However, I want you to do something about it. So giving this connection over here, I'm wondering if you just expected certain things to happen, some kind of graciousness, some kind of gratitude, but instead somebody is going to say no, something is going to be cut off. So this is really, really important, right? So if you have placed yourself in a dangerous position, for example, without thinking about circumstances, whatever it is, financial, you know, career-wise, relationship, that is going to kind of like lead to something that will need to be fixed, right? So as far as kind of like love, if that's what you are kind of like really looking at this reading for, it's going to push relationship through basically its absolute limits. If you already are in a relationship and look, it's projected to go further, it's projected, hey, we are in February, we should celebrate, etc. But because of the celebration, sorry, cough, but because of this celebration that is coming up, people are thinking, is this right for me, is this toxic, right? So the Tower basically tells you that, you know, you will need to try to be there for each other and maintain very open and very honest communication. If your relationship survives this upheaval, so it could be like, for example, somebody is going to say, because I usually see this card as give and take, right? And when I do private readings in particular, I see that. So I'll say somebody here was pulling all the weight and somebody else was just tagging along and riding the wave without contributing. And maybe somebody else is saying that was okay for a while, but now we need to kind of have this equality if we are to be like tete-a-tete, right? Head and head kind of like partnership for the rest of our lives or whatever, like I mean a part of the road that we are traveling. So it is very, very important. Because look at this, the Earth that we are having, and this is Mars, and this is going to be like that explosion, something that really, really has to happen, right? So keep in mind that, you know, don't be overly cautious. Like, I mean, this is not kind of a thing, don't leave your house, and etc., right? So, you know, it can talk about that maybe something with work is going to talk about redundancy or something like that. But if you heard this, if you're listening, then please start looking for new jobs. Start seeing the opportunities. Immediately it's going to shift you in a different mindset. It's going to tell you, look at that. I would be making more money here, and my skill set probably is even greater. Maybe I can make even more. So giving that perspective, understanding this, maybe polishing your CV, your resume, it's going to kind of give you this idea. Same thing with your partner. If somebody's, maybe it's going to be you. You like to kind of like balance those scales. You kind of like to do that, right? So be also very careful, especially when they're talking about coronavirus, of course, in North America. In North America, we don't have many of them, right? And I know it was a new year of, what is it, the rat? That started. So it was lots of traveling. But usually this is really talking about, it's kind of like period of renewal. So something is going to force you to make changes in your life. Generally, I see that as maybe drug use or overly being dependent on, let's say, substances and that kind of stuff. So just keep in mind that it's going to be a storm this month. But again, we are in the winter, we have snowstorms all the time, so nothing to worry about. And Nine of Sky. Yes, you will worry about it. Let me put it this way. Nine of Sky is like you will experience anxiety. I'm not going to lie to you. This tells me that is mostly in your head. This is really not happening. The snake is not attacking the kitty. The other kitty is not attacking the kitty. The dog, the ego. No, kitty is dreaming all about it. So make sure that you kind of like differentiate what is real, what is not real. Because like this Nine of Sky has this thing of playing on your head. So I don't know, maybe this also tells me that maybe you have someone in your life who is gaslighting. And maybe you even have two people in your life. And you're like really wondering what you need to do at this stage. Let me see the last one in this initial one. And then you have Eight of Fire. And I really think this is talking about just like when we're approaching this full moon. And around the 8th, just the day before the upcoming full moon that we are going to have in Leo, I was born as an Aquarius in a full moon of Leo. So happy birthday to me around that time. Look at this. Do you have a cat? Like, do you know this, what do you call this? Speedies, zoomies? This happens all the time and it's so freaking cute. So this is kind of like a thing. It's really interesting. We have 6, we have 7, we have 8. Whew. I can see this motion. So it's kind of like there's a little detour over here, but you're rebuilding, you're kind of putting it down. This card also to me can talk about, let's say, expanding your horizons. Let's say kind kind of saying I love you, somebody really being interested, like this is really combination, like I mean that you should have. But again, lots of attitude will depend on how things will roll out on you, because I do see here that there are going to be this nervousness. If you guys maybe have let's say suffer from depression or from anxiety, I would really say that this month you will need to really watch it. I would advise you to get this 30 minutes of, you know, a little bit of increased heart rate, because it's going to naturally boost your serotonin. It's going to make you feel more positive, because this is about building, this is about doing it. Or for some of you, romance is working and something else is upsetting you in life, right? Well, I didn't see, for example, mind you, this can talk about third party like relationship as well. It could be somebody else that is creating problems in your life. That could be like, I mean, you know, ex or your child or something like that. But look at this, seeking. You really want romance. You're almost like the flower that is like, I mean, just about to die, like it's waning, and somebody pours water on you and whew, you get a seeking. Seeking is like that lovely person who says, here, come here, lie down on my shoulder, tell me all about it. Tell me about your day. And you talk and talk and talk, and they don't interrupt you with telling you what you should be doing. They don't interrupt you with advice. They're just listening, and that's exactly what you need. And this is like really lovely to see here. In your environment, you have the cat. There's like something new. Somebody is taking this leap of faith. I really love full rendition in this one. We always see the cat that is like so living in the moment, just like the fool that comes here, except here is called the cat, right? So this can talk about initiation, because I see this 9 over here. Maybe it's finishing a circumstance or situation that has been very upsetting to you, or some situation is going to be very upsetting, but life goes on, and it kind of like shows, okay, maybe I need to change certain things, maybe I need to go in a new direction. You're going to start feeling comfortable. You're also going to be comfort to the other people. So this is kind of like really kind of like well positioned. And there I said 10 minutes because of my voice. And then we have another 7, because this is 7, 16, 1 and 6 is 7. And this is in your hopes and your fears. To me, this card is always about illusions, right? 7 of C is that card where he sees this, like, I mean, so balloons, but then you touch them and they disappear. So you really are working on rebuilding something, but there is like still residue of you thinking and worrying that rebuilding is not going to be successful. So I will clarify to see what is this all about. But at the same time, you're really hopeful. And look, you have cat magic. After the cat is going into this magic. So somebody's entering your life, and there is like this new start, guys. Cat magic, or the magician, is saying, well, okay, actually you have everything that you need to. You do not have to look around. You don't have to seek this or that. Everything is here. So just go and enjoy it. Now, just let me pause it for a second. Again, I'm so sorry. I just hope this cold kind of like goes away really quickly. So guys, you do have, I mean, my take over here is that the month is going to have very good aspects, and somebody might show up or something else is going to work, but you're also going to have elements that are not going to be that happy. At the same time, this time in your life, you'll have people around you, your friends, your relatives, or your significant one, who is going to be there for you, who is going to be listening to you, who is going to kind of like understand you and say, hey, come on, we can rebuild this, we can redo that, everything can work out. So let me check this Tower and this 9 of Sky. I want to see what is this all about and why is this happening over here. So here we have Scholar reversed. Okay, so there is a dude here with his huge book over here, as you can see him, and he is reading his book, right? So clearly it's telling us about somebody who is trying to look into details, who's trying to actually really find what is important to him, and maybe obtain a little kind of like a bigger knowledge. And I don't know, here there's like a better clarity over here, you know. So that can talk about an expert or somebody who is knowledgeable, intellect and wisdom, right? Because we did have, I think, remember we had hermit, and that to me is kind of like very similar to that other kind of attitude. So scholar basically is a card that represents a person who is a trusted advisor. So it could be some kind of counseling, right? So it's a person who has a status, it's a person who has a knowledge, and I'm wondering, you know, hello, maybe that could be this as well. The Fool is an air sign, I do have to tell you, and this is a water sign. So you have those kind of energies like really highly prominent in your February chart, because this person generally kind of like would more fit into water, because it's generally calm and it's sensitive, also serious, and kind of understands the value of silence, right, which usually goes with seeking over here. So now because if you, let's say some of you maybe have a crisis in a relationship, so then, you know, somebody's going to provide counsel and that harmony can be restored, right? So as far as your tower moment at work, for example, right, then I think a solution can be found through basically wisdom, and you almost like have a double over here, right? And knowledge. Somebody's maybe going to question your knowledge about it, say, well, are you ready for this job? Can you do it? And you're going to say, yeah, sure, I will do it, right? I don't know, maybe some of you have a diagnosis which was not accurate, and that's going to be kind of like straightened out, and that's also very, very important, right? So keep in mind that that's kind of like also talking about attorneys and contracts and good news. Maybe you need to clear some issues. When I saw that, and I said to myself, I'll just say this later, I said to myself, maybe that's some kind of inheritance here that is really happening, and this is kind of like that life moment that is kind of like change. It's some kind of like shift. But and that would make sense that like you're very upset, and look, you have hotness, like you have my one of my favorite cards over here, which is really, really interesting, and it came reversed, right? So peacock is this gorgeous, beautiful, like, I mean, bird, right? We have I live in the west end of Toronto, and we have something that's called High Park. most big cities have high parks, but this is like a bigger chunk of land that has been given to the city of Toronto, and by a guy who was like there with his wife who had mental health issues, and when she died, and he even created art studio for her, he actually just gave this like huge gorgeous park to the city. The catch was that nobody can drink on it, so even though there is a restaurant in it, it cannot serve any kind of like alcohol. So the reason why I'm basically saying this to you, kind of like they have this park zoo inside where they have lots of peacocks, right? And they're like absolutely amazing. There's like one that is completely white, right? So this talks about also superiority and maybe lack of humility that can be kind of like vanity or showing off, right? So keep in mind that you are Libra. That kind of like sometimes is the part that people notice about you. You are very charming and lovely, but sometimes people say, is this like, I mean, overkill? Is there a push? So keep this in mind. But this came rejected. This came reversed. So that whole vanity and whole this crapola now talks about having a healthy awareness of somebody's limitations, right? And also having a healthy awareness of your own strengths. So maybe you need to be more proud. When it's reversed, it kind of like comes that you're like not showing off, you're not scaring anybody, right, etc., right? So it can actually also talk about resumption of relationships. So maybe it's going to be one of those should we break up kind of situations, or having a talk that kind of like makes you feel a little bit bitter or disconnected, and then all of a sudden there's like this resumption and there is like improvement, like relationship or friendship or something, right? So it is really important to know that this is actually talking about resolving some kind of like past behavior, right? So it can be negative card if it's kind of like talking about the deep sadness or emotional turbulence. But as I said, you're going to really have to work on your own endorphins, on your own serotonin, with really kind of like get up half an hour early and just do some stretches, do some stuff. Okay, just lying down in bed and thinking about exercise, it's not going to cut it, right? So keep in mind that you're going to have admiration. There's going to be admiration for many suitors. New lovers are going to be favorable, but pride can cause you to worry, and pride can cause the relationship to fall. So be mindful of your own behavior, exercise humility, and if there are relationship issues, just don't approach it with arrogance, and things are going to be much better, because I really think you have so many time of like feel here where you can really get real with this person. Oh my gosh, that from 10 minutes I was supposed to finish with all. So there you Libra, there you go. Hopefully I get your comments, and stay tuned, because next you're going to get a link that you can get more information about this reading. I have a pick a card reading, so now in addition to this, maybe you should check your ascendant, you should check your moon sign, but specifically I made a reading where you can get a little bit more information. So you can ask, okay, this is what worries me right now, or this is what I'm hoping right now, and I'm picking, like, I mean, the card, the pile number 1, and this is what I would like to see not happen, and what do you think about it, and you pick another pile. So it's going to show up at the end screen, so look up for it, guys. Looking forward to your comments. If this resonated, please consider subscribing. You can contact me at cattarot.ca if you want a personal reading with me. Until the next time, I love you and I wish you all the best.